Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, nearing the end of the day. My name is Olivia. I work for Nectari Business Intelligence, also known as Sage Enterprise Intelligence. We're a business intelligence solution, believe it or not, by the name. The first question I'm going to put out to the audience is, how many of you today are using Excel for data analysis and reporting? Manual Excel stuff. Cool. All right. How many of you are using Sage Intelligence? All right. More manual Excel than Sage Intelligence. Very interesting. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about how to level up your business intelligence, your data analysis and reporting, and how we can help you improve efficiencies on that side of things when it comes to analyze and reporting on data. So I'll jump right into it, just a little bit about who we are. We're a company actually based not far from here in Montreal. We started as an X3 business partner many years ago, recently sold that practice to focus on our business intelligence solution, Nectari, aka SEI. We developed this solution initially for X3. We started to do really well with the solution and actually signed an agreement with Sage about 10 years ago to OEM, they call it an OEM solution, and rebrand the product under the Sage name. We then went to market with a number of other product lines, including Sage 300. So how many of you here are Sage 300 customers today? Any Sage Intact? Okay, cool. So Sage 300, Sage Intact, Sage 100, and a slew of other product lines worldwide. So we are about 2,700 customers now, again, across the globe. Everywhere Sage is available, we are available too. So that is just a little bit about who we are. In terms of the solution itself, our mission is really to empower users to get the answers their business needs. And by those answers, we're talking about the data that really enables you to make decisions. So in terms of SEI, it's all about data analysis and reporting and providing organizations with yourself, an easy way to access, report, and share information. At the end of the day, that's what SEI is. It's an intuitive user interface that allows any kind of user to navigate, create reports, utilize the reports that are already there, share information with colleagues, again, geared towards helping you make proactive, not reactive decisions based on real-time, accurate information. So we'll talk a little bit about why we highly suggest you consider upgrading your BI today. The first reason being enterprise-wide reporting. So when we talk about some of those other solutions, again, we had quite a few hands raised, manual Excel reporting, some Sage Intelligence. I'm assuming that those of you doing manual reporting in Excel are probably focused on the financials. You might be doing a little bit of operational stuff. I know that SI is geared primarily towards the financial side in Excel, but if you're really looking to gain enterprise-wide insight into your information, whether it's coming from Sage 300 or another data source, this is really the solution that you want to look at pursuing. The reason is because it will enable you to make those connections. So again, outside of Sage 300, not only outside of Sage 300, but also outside of the area of finance. So if you're using the different modules in Sage 300, sales obviously is a common one, but the project job, we've recently released reports as well for the service manager module. So any kind of reporting you need to do outside of financials, SEI will facilitate that for you as well. In terms of what we deliver for Sage 300, there's already a lot there. The optional fields are already there. The ability to do consolidations is there as well. So one of the struggles that we often come across with especially Sage 300 customers who have multi-database, multi-company, you're struggling to consolidate all of that data together, drill into each of your companies to really get that detailed information you're looking for. That's what SEI will provide you the ability to do. Speaking about managing data, again, I just talked about accessing information outside of Sage 300. So whether we're talking legacy system, maybe you have some files somewhere with history that you still want to keep for reporting reasons. Perhaps you have a CRM system like Salesforce that you want to hone into as well. We deliver a lot with the solution in terms of connectivity. So we actually offer a connector to systems like Salesforce as an example, which will allow you to very easily and seamlessly seamlessly integrate that data into your reporting. So with SEI, we actually have what's called the universal data models, in addition to what we provide that's specific to Sage 300, and those universal data models will facilitate that integration of those other sources as well. We have some data management tools. I won't get too deep into them, but if you do need to do data cleanup, data transformations, things of that nature, SEI can provide those abilities as well. The user experience. I myself am a salesperson. I never really familiarized myself with Excel the way that maybe I should have. I'm sure a lot of the financial people are saying, you know, we're comfortable, we have experience in Excel, but people like myself prefer to work possibly with something a little bit more web-based, a little bit more intuitive in terms of being able to very easily drag and drop things around, something that's not very complex, that we don't need a lot of calculations for and things like that. So in terms of the user experience, we do provide that web interface, you know, that's accessible as well through a mobile device, as well as the Excel add-in component, because we do know how powerful, I don't personally know because I'm not an expert on Excel, but those of you who are do know how powerful the Excel, Microsoft Excel platform is, and combining that with the capabilities of SEI is a very powerful tool for getting those financials done as well. As far as the flexibility goes and the enhanced flexibility, again, we talked about, you know, the multiple different interfaces. We do have something that's fully web, again, accessible from a mobile device, the Excel add-in. We've also built a version of the Excel add-in within the web interface. So for those of you who are comfortable like working with Excel but want that mobility aspect, no longer want to manage you know, the Microsoft updates and security issues and things of that nature, the exact same features and functionalities of Microsoft Excel are embedded within the web interface of SEI, and you can really, you know, do the exact same formulas, and different capabilities are there as well in the web workbook. The collaboration also is a very big value add when we talk about SEI, and we talk about collaboration, we talk about sharing data, which is critical in most organizations to be able to get the data in the hands of people who need it when they need it. We have a distribution module that's extremely flexible and saves a lot of time for the ability to schedule those reports to be sent out automatically to any number of users or non-users of the software. So again, information sharing. You don't necessarily have to be a user of SEI to be receiving those reports. Another aspect of the flexibility is that you don't need to be a Sage 300 user to actually access SEI. So if you have colleagues within the organization who need to be accessing, you know, the information for reporting reasons, they don't have to access Sage 300. Again, they can just simply log into SEI and get access to all of the data, the reports that they require. Lastly, scalability is critical, especially for organizations who might be growing. You might be acquiring other companies, other entities. You also might be thinking about long-term your software journey. Where are you headed in terms of, you know, are we going to move to Sage X3, perhaps Sage Intacct? What is going to happen to your reporting if you start today and you start building out all of your reports? Well, good news, SEI, like I said in the beginning, is available for all of the Sage product lines, and it will move with you along that journey. So you will not be losing anything that you do today in the application. You'll actually be able to carry that over, use it for data validation, consolidate with your new system, so on and so forth. Back to the scalability factor. If you're an organization that processes a ton of transactions, you have very large volumes of data, we're geared towards handling those large volumes as well. With SEI, you can access information in real time and also utilize cubes, again, for that enhanced performance if you're doing a ton of transactions daily. So that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Jazz. He'll get into a little bit of a product demo. I know we don't have that much time. So actually, Jazz, you know what? I'm going to stop you for 1 second. I'm going to jump to the final slides, and then I'm going to pass it to Jazz so he has the rest of the time to himself. But I did just want to mention this, a quick shout out. For those of you who are on Sage Intelligence, which again, it wasn't many of you, we do have a conversion tool available with SEI. So the conversion tool will very easily and quickly transfer your reports from Sage Intelligence to Sage Enterprise Intelligence in 4 easy steps. It's a free tool that will do this for you. So I did want to call that out before I pass it to Jazz, and then I'm going to let him have the remainder of the session so he can show you some of the good stuff in the application.
Thanks, Olivia, for the Nice presentation. So I have a question for you all too. How many of you are now excited to see the product? That's it? Okay. All right, great. Well, that's definitely a lot more hands than the other questions. So great. So now we will actually start with the presentation of the product. And I will show you, first of all, the embeddedness of SEI within Sage 300 web screens. So here what we are having what we are looking at is the Sage 300 web screens. For those of you who are already using Sage 300 web screens or who are planning to maybe use that in the future, you have the ability to embed SEI fully within Sage 300 web screens. So what we are looking at here is the native dashboard from SEI, which is embedded here. Or we can also create multiple tabs, as you can see, from CFO, changing from project manager as another dashboard, or you can also create other buttons within Sage 300 web screens as well to embed the entire solution as well, if needed. So just wanted to start on that note that we are fully able to embed the solution within Sage 300 as well. So from there, we will now switch on to the standalone version of SEI, where I will show you the first platform, which is going to be the web-based application, and we will explore what it has to offer when it comes to all out-of-the-box reports which are pre-built and for Sage 300 and some for the additional modules as well, which we currently have worked on, which is the Service Manager as well. So just to let you know, like I said, with SEI, users get different reports, data models pre-built out of the box. So there are two sets of them primarily. The first one is a Sage 300, which comes with all out-of-the-box modules on accounts payable, receivable, finance, project and job costing, purchasing, inventory. So you have all these modules there. And within there, you have the different reports, visualizations, graphs, and graphs and charts, which are also provided out of the box. Then on top of that, we also have the universal data model, which offers many modules as well based on financials, sales, customer relationship management, inventory, and also some of the advanced functionalities to create budgets and maintain them, and even sales forecasts and maintain them within SEI. So it doesn't interfere directly with your Sage 300 data. And then we also have the dashboards. So just like the out-of-the-box reports, we have the out-of-the-box dashboards, which we will have a look at. One of them we already saw embedded within Sage 300. Then Report Designer, and something very nice that I will talk about a little bit later in the presentation, which is the web workbooks. So that's just the main overview of what users get out of the box, and now we will explore what exactly it is. So now let's go into financials, for example, and I will open a very basic report to begin with, which is going to be the detailed transaction. And I explain you how these worksheets operate here within the solution and how easy it is to really slice and dice the data, bring in the new dimensions of your choice, and drag and drop fields, drill down to different levels of details in these reports. So here, for example, this report and any other report within SEI is based on groups, pivots, and columns. It's really as simple as that, and the data that we see in these reports will really depend on what fields we enter here in these shells. To give you an example, we have 4 fields: company code, fiscal year, GL account number, fiscal period. Actually, I should bring my fiscal period before the account number. And that's exactly the drill down that we will see in these reports. There's another thing that you will notice here, that we have 2 sets of companies here in the same column of groups. This is so because we can consolidate these companies together and see all the data within the same report. So if you have multiple companies, multiple entities within Sage 300, you can consolidate them all together using our data sync module, which is a data management site, and then you can bring it all together within the same report if you would like that. Or you can very easily then further filter on these reports as well. So if I want to keep only SAM Ltd in this report, I can apply that filter, and now I see only that company on this report, and then I start my drill down on this report. Now from SAM Ltd, I go to the next field, which is the fiscal year. Then I can further drill down on the fiscal year to see the list of the different fiscal periods for which I have the postings. And further drilling down on that, I have all my GL account numbers. And it doesn't stop there, because we can really drill down to the transactions as well. What is the journal date? What is the primary reference? What's the entry number? So you can really drill down to the levels, different levels of details within these reports. Now, the next thing is to be able to slice and dice on the data very easily in these reports. Now, what we are looking at is a generic template which is provided out of the box, which is already giving a very good starting point to all of you. But when it comes to further bringing in new fields, then we have the toolbar on the right-hand side, which has one of the tools called dimensions and measures, where we can go and grab any other dimension of our choice or any other KPIs as well. So let's say if I would want to bring in my segment code. I'm sure you must be using many segment codes within SEI 300 because you are compartmentalizing your departments, your site codes within these segments. So let's say if I bring in the segment 2 and I want to see that information in this report. All I'm doing here is to simply drag and drop that field right into my groups. And then if I need, I can clean it up a little bit more by applying the filter. So I keep only commercial and retail and get rid of the null values. And what I can further do is to keep my segment codes in the pivots. So this would be a completely different way for you to look at your data, where now instead of seeing the 2 separate rows for your departments, you are now seeing them as separate columns. I'll show you that in a moment. If I just resize these columns here, you now have the commercial as entire column and then the retail. Similarly, you can even bring in your fiscal year. So if I bring in my fiscal year in the pivots, you will have a pivot under another pivot. So we see 2021 first, and within that year, you can see your departments and all the postings that you can, of course, further drill down into this report. So it's really that simple to bring in the fields of your choice, the ease of use, drag and drop, applying the filters into these reports to view the data the way you want to see it, and to get the answers that you need. All right, so that was the functioning of these reports that I wanted to explain to you. And now let's go ahead and explore some of the more advanced reports on the universal data model side, where we have all these standard financial statements such as income statement, balance sheet, trial balance, so on and so forth, on the financial side, of course. And then what we are seeing here is also a neat feature which we can do before opening the reports, which is the selection page, where I can clearly define what exact fiscal year do I want to see the data for. So you can apply these filters already, and then the report loads to show you that particular set of data that you're applying the filters for. And then we have the standard structure of the income statement, for example, where again, I can drill down to different levels of details. From sales, I'm going into the account codes which are posted under the sales, and then going to further into the drill down to see the document numbers, and even bringing more KPIs into this report. So that's the advantage that you have, not only the pre-built reports, but also the pre-built KPIs on top of that. So if I'm expanding this folder right here, you have the year-to-date calculations, the rolling 12. You can compare your actuals versus mix with these KPIs right here. And how to bring them into the report, simply pick what you want and simply drag and drop them in the report. And then you have your data with all these different critical KPIs. So that was another example for the financial side. And now let's go ahead and explore some other out-of-the-box reports within SAGE 300. Let's take project and job costing, for example. So here we have the different data models on projects, contracts. So if I open one of these reports here, let's say project listing. Here we have a lot of information about the contracts, the projects, and if we want more details, always the toolbar is always our friend, where we can go and fetch more information about what is the project status, what was the date. All these different KPIs and dimensions are already, again, there for us. Next part, which is, again, very beneficial for the users, is to be able to share and distribute these reports as well. So the same exact report, I have multiple options to share it with my colleagues. I can export it in a format of my choice. So if it is PDF, Excel, depending on your choice. You can also send a comment, which means that solution takes a screenshot of the exact same report, and then you can highlight something which needs some attention, or you want to raise that information with your colleagues. And then you annotate, you add comments in here, and send a direct email to your colleagues directly from within SEI. So that's another nice way to collaborate with your colleagues. Or you can do a printout. If you're not that eco-friendly, you can definitely go for the page setup and printing options, but I would totally not encourage that, and rather encourage you to use the scheduler option, where we have this coming as a part of the distribution module, where you can set the new jobs. You can choose what exact reports you want to include in that reporting pack. Let's say I would want to create a finance reporting pack. So here are the list of all the finance reports for me, and then I can add them. If there are any reports sitting in Excel, I have the ability to bring them in and add them as in the reporting pack too. And then give some aesthetic touches, make it nice. So you add a cover page to that. Table of contents, which will list all the different reports that I wanted to add. And then users and groups, these will be the users like myself or a group of users who will have the same security settings. So if you want to really hide a certain information, a column from a group of users, you can really manage that within the security settings within SEI, and you can really manage who sees what information. So this is how you schedule them on a weekly basis, daily basis. You pick your time. Let's say 9 a.m. every Monday, every Wednesday of the week. You set your date and time and hit save, and then there's no more headache about running behind IT people to send out these reports for you, because the tool itself takes care of that. Here's the end result of what that would look like when it is sent out as a reporting pack. You can have a nice title on the top, followed by the table of contents, and your financial dashboard, followed by all your financial statements as well. So that was a distribution side, which I definitely wanted to touch upon. Then we also have the reporting tree. So for many of you who might have multiple entities, multiple companies set up within Sage 300, we do have the ability to use the reporting tree feature as well within SEI. So here I'm opening this report just to show you what that looks like. So this is more of the end result of this report, where you have a nice title on the top, and then you have the dynamic variables such as fiscal year, fiscal period, clearly telling you what fiscal year, fiscal period this report is referring to. And then you can even have the breakdown of this report to see the totals and do your calculations within this interface here. And the reporting tree is what will give you the ability to simply click on the hierarchies, which is something that you will set for yourself based on the company's organization's structure. So if it's all companies that I want to see all together, I simply click on all companies and see all the postings at large. Or I can go into a specific company and then see that posting. And within that company, there might be different regions, there might be different departments. I can click on that and then have the postings for loading for me for that particular department. So this way, the reporting tree functionality could also be very useful for many of you. All right, so dashboards, again, like I've mentioned before, we have a lot of dashboards, again, which are tailored for Sage 300, whether it's projects, inventory, purchasing, and the ones which also come out of the box with the universal data model. So I haven't talked much about the sales. Let me just quickly open one of the sales example, customer performance, for example. All the dashboards that we are looking at right now, these are pre-built, and they are already giving you a good starting point when it comes to visualizing your data. But nothing stops you from creating your own reports within SEI and creating new visualizations and creating your own dashboards with those visualizations that you are further creating. Just to customize these dashboards is, again, very easy. You can resize these visualizations, you can remove them, and you can just bring in anything that you create on your own by simply dragging and dropping that into these dashboards. Okay. All right. 5 minutes is just perfect for me because I wanted to quickly go over the next platform of SEI, which is the Excel add-in. So the Excel lovers out there, we do have another platform for you as well if you would like to continue working and maintaining your reports within Excel. So here are over 25 different tools which come as a part of the Excel add-in, ranging from the data extraction, where you can really extract the list of your account codes, your descriptions, which we can see nicely right here. I have extracted the entire list of my accounts, which is also a dynamic list. So any of the accounts which will be added, even after you create this report, you need to simply go and refresh that list, and then it will be loaded again in this report for you. And then to create the calculations in these reports, we use another another tool, which is called the Formula Wizard, where, again, there's no need to write down big formulas in the formula bar, but you don't need to know those formulas, because the tool itself is helping you pick what you need to work on, the data model, then your fields that you want to work on. It is a ledger posting, is a global posting, and then this operation, the sums that you want, the operations that you want to do to get that calculation in that cell for you. And then rest is just simply applying those filters. Where is my fiscal year coming from? It's a cell right here. It's really that easy to map those fields and get your calculations in these cells, which you can then copy and paste further from cell to cell, making it much easier for you to create these reports. For example, a trial balance report for me, when I show in my demo, I don't have time today, I'm sorry, but it takes me literally 2 minutes to create that with this tool. All right, so I wouldn't spend too much time on Excel, but I do want to definitely show you what is very exciting for me, and I'm sure you will like it too, which is the web workbooks, which is the brand new feature which has been recently released, where you can use the Excel-like environment while remaining within the web application, where we were seeing a dashboard like this. So here, as you can see, the entire interface of this spreadsheet is very familiar. We have the rows and columns, and we have all the formatting options that are available to us within Excel, ranging from different charts that we can add, any formulas, and then even managing these formulas using the SEI's native formula wizard right here, which is giving you a much nicer interface to work on, and you can easily apply filters. These are also very dynamic as reports. So if I change my current year to 2021, I can see the data there loading for me right away. So that's there as well. So if you would continue to use Excel, you can now use that within the same application, web application, and at the same time you have access to the drag and drop, all the easy to use features that we saw earlier in the presentation. So it's the best of both. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation. Thank you so much.